Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel and welcome to a first impressions video. And this is really exciting because y'all, I am doing a first impressions on a brand new brand. I don't necessarily think the brand is new, but it's new to me. So I'm going to be doing a first impressions on the Swarthy palette from Mez Beauty. Okay, I know I had in a couple of videos a whole spiel about no new brands. I'm okay, I'm good. But that of course did not apply to black owned brands. And it sure as hell did not apply to black-owned, Caribbean-owned brands. Like they don't fall into that realm at all, ever, point blank period. So when I was doing my last or the one before the last new makeup releases video, I saw this little palette and I was like, wait, hold up now. Let me just dig a little bit deeper. And I had to buy it, you guys. First of all, it was beautiful. Second of all, it was affordable, and my spirit has not been allowing me to really look at brands and look at products that could be a utility bill anymore. I just can't do it. So it really caught my eye because it was a lot more affordable than what else is on the market, and it was a beautiful palette. So I had to do a little bit of digging. I reached out to the brand, found out that it is a black-owned brand. Well, I knew that from the website, but I found out that the owner of the brand is actually from St. Lucia. Hey. So I was even more intrigued and I was like, hell yes, I am going to buy it. And then one of you guys actually messaged me and said, hey, are you going to review that palette that you talked about in your last video? Because I tried to look it up on YouTube and I haven't seen anyone do a review on it. And I was like, say less, I will take one for the team. So that's my plan. Now, before we dive into the palette, just really quickly, if this is your first time watching me, welcome. I'm Jamila. I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup and skincare. And I especially love sharing my tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury. Ooh, slow down. Luxury beauty products at bargain prices. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and joining the fam. Okay, so like I said, we are going into the Swarthy palette by Mez Beauty. Per usual, the way I like to do this is I like to go through some product details. I'm going to insert swatches of the palette. I'm not going to do any live swatches just because I don't have the time. And those actually do take a lot of time. And I'm trying to film 4 videos today. Full transparency. I'm trying to film at least 4 videos today. So I'm going to insert some B-roll of the swatches for you guys. And I'm only going to do one look. It is a neutral palette, so I'm not going to try to do too much. But if you follow me on Instagram, which you 100% should, it's just Jamie_Trini. That's where I tend to post my looks because I do wear makeup 4 to 5 days a week. And I post my looks when I'm doing it. But I don't film every look that I do. So if you want to see me use the palette more and see more looks from it, check out my Instagram page. Okay, so because this is a new brand, I'm going to start by telling you guys a little bit about Mez Beauty from their About Us page on their website. So it says, welcome to Mez Beauty. With a passion and love for all things beauty, we have spent quite a while perfecting our trade. Mez Beauty is proud to offer our clients the very best in the world of beauty and aesthetics. Check our website to learn more about us. Proudly born and raised in the Caribbean, Mez Beauty Cosmetics is a constantly evolving, innovative beauty brand dedicated to bringing you the best in cruelty-free cosmetics. We're all about affordability and inclusivity and encourage our community of beauty enthusiasts to make the most out of makeup. We don't just follow the trends, we create them. Our brand provides endless choices to accommodate our differences. We acknowledge that every single person is unique and we are each in control of our own beauty destiny. Okay, so that is about Mez Beauty. And looking at the palette online now, I will say that there isn't a description of the palette, so I can't read you how they describe this palette because there's nothing on there. But when you do go to the website, they do have all of this very, very beautiful imagery that just absolutely looks stunning, right? Like, I think these are the swatches that caught me and I was like, yep, add to cart immediately. So this is the Swarthy palette. So you can probably tell it is a bit large in terms of sizing considering some of the other palettes that I have. This is the box it comes in, just a standard cardboard box. On the back, it has the product ingredients as well as additional details about the palette. So it does say that this is vegan, cruelty-free, and has a 24-month shelf life, which honestly is not bad in terms of shelf life. I feel like I tend to see 12 to like 18 months. So this is definitely much longer. When you take the palette out the box, it is the exact same in terms of packaging, both in the back and the front, so you definitely don't need to keep the box. It definitely is cardboard. I wouldn't say the packaging is anything special. It has Swarthy written over the front here, as well as Mes Beauty on the bottom. So in terms of packaging, pretty simple, straightforward. And it is this sort of brown, not brown, brown. I know my colors. I'm so sorry. Orange. This is orange. This orange color. And then when you open up the palette, this is the color story. It is absolutely stunning, absolutely gorgeous. So you have a top row of mattes and then a bottom row of shimmers. All in all, there are 12 shades, so 6 mattes, 6 shimmers. Of the shimmers, you do have these 2 sort of speckled shimmers, which I don't know what they're gonna do. I haven't swatched this yet. And these 2 kind of like satin shades. So I would say you have like 2 satiny shades, 2 kind of speckled marble shades, and 2 sort of just standard shimmer / metallic shades. And then the 6 mattes, which I think is a really good balance. I love the depth of this. I think that they did an excellent job, particularly with the mattes so far, just from looking at it. So you have a really, really nice light blend out shade. This isn't white. It looks a little white in pan, but it's definitely a cream beige color. So if you're worried about this for like my deeper complected ladies, I do think that this is not as dark white, so it shouldn't be a problem. You have the super rich chocolate shade getting to the deepest end of the spectrum, and a lot in between for you to mix and match. So you can definitely lighten things up and deepen things up as you please. So so far, I'm impressed. Now, I have no idea what I'm going to do. None whatsoever. I don't know what I put in on my eyes at all. But I do want to play with this yellow because it's so bright that I'm like, is she gonna show up the way she said she would? So I'm gonna bring you guys in a little bit closer. So I'm gonna just quickly pop up some B-roll of some swatches so you can see what this looks like on my complexion. For reference, I am a medium deep complexion with a yellow or golden undertone. These days I am leaning a little bit more deep because it is summertime, so I'm living in the sun, so I'm definitely leaning more more deep than medium. But all of my swatches are taken with my iPhone 13 Pro Max outside in natural lighting, and there's no base or anything to it. I just swatch like normal. All right, let me bring you guys in a little bit closer so I can start putting this on my face. Okay, so I'm just gonna start by going in strong. So I'm taking the bright yellow shade. It's actually called mustard, which, to be honest, is very, very fitting for the name. Just gonna tap a little bit of that off, and I'm using that as my transition shade. Oh my god. Pigment, yes. Okay, that is actually quite impressive. I love when it all works out, and I am, calling this up pretty early, but so far I'm happy with the amount of payoff that I'm getting from this, which is not surprising. Black-owned beauty brands tend to know that us lovely complected ladies, melanated ladies, need pigment, so they do tend to have a little bit more punch in them from my experience. But this is applying nicely, and it's blending out really nice. Okay. I'm happy with that. And as I am dipping my brush into the pan, I am noticing that I'm getting virtually zero kick up, which is great. So there's no kick up in the pan, there's no sort of excess fallout. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna start building and adding depth to it. So I'm gonna go down the row. So we started with mustard. Next, I'm gonna go to caramel, which is this kind of brown transition looking shade, if we're being honest. This would be good if you didn't want to start off with that bright yellow mustard shade. So I'm just putting that right underneath mustard to start giving us a little bit of depth and a little bit of dimension. And I'm gonna try to use as many shades as possible in this look so you guys can see how the palette performs. When I knew we used to be Next, I'm gonna go into my color switch. I'm just gonna clean off my brush with that. And then I'm actually gonna skip a shade and go to the second darkest shade in the palette. This one is called Umber. Very good pickup on the brush. Ooh, this is applying and blending nicely. And I don't think I'll actually need to go into that deep, rich chocolate. But I do think I wanna switch brushes though. This one's a little too fat for what I'm trying to do, but I'm just gonna rock with it. And so far, these shadows seem to be blending and building upon each other really nicely. Nothing is getting muddy. I'm not seeing too much patchiness. I see a little bit there, but I'm just gonna take a little bit and fill in that area. There you go.
On the reservoir, never broke a bone, so I'm gonna try hard to prove you.
This is definitely not the right brush. Give me a second. So I'm actually switching to my Morphe E22. If I'm gonna do this right, I need to do this right. This is my crease brush. This is what I use to put transition shades down, buff everything out. It is not my outer corner brush. I like something that's a little bit thinner, a little bit denser, less fluffy, so that I have some more precision. So that's not blending the shadows the way I want it to. And I don't know why I pick up that brush in the first place. Granted, I do need to wash my brushes because it is time. It is time. I've been kind of washing it in batches because it's so much at this point. So rather than sit down for like 3 hours and wash brushes, I've been doing it one batch at a time because I just cannot be in the sink for that long. So today I have to wash another batch of brushes, along with a long host of other things that I need to do, including laundry, meal prepping. So I have a huge list and I want to add more to it, but I'm trying to act like I got some common sense and not try to do everything today because I need to leave time to relax and unwind and, you know, just mentally prepare for the week. By the way, it is Sunday today, so I'm not trying to fill up my Sunday with too much things. Okay, so this is adding really nice depth. I don't think I want to go and use the deepest shade, actually. Yeah, no, I think I'm fine because I like this depth. This one is still a little bit light, so I'll add and make this even. But I don't think I'm going to go into the deepest shade in this palette. Although, just for shits and giggles, let's do it. So I'm actually going to take a hair of that deep shade, but I'm only going to put it on this side. So I'm taking up a little bit of that deep shade. It's actually called Cocoa. And I'm just going to deepen up this side. There you go. It doesn't look different. Okay. So now that I have both sides laid down with the shades, what I need to do is go back in with the 2 matte shades, and I'm just going to do a little bit of blending to get rid of some of the harsh lines, mainly on this side. Like, I love my blend on this side, but this side is just despicable. So I'm going to go back into some of the matte shades that I used and just clean that up and get that blend more to my standards. So I'm going in with that fluffy brush that I had from before. Okay, so I'm loving where the eyes are at right now. Time to add the shimmers. So I'm actually going to start by going into this shimmer right here. It's the second deepest one. It's called Bronze. Ooh. Jesus. That felt so soft. And this is my first time touching these shimmers. So I'm going in with my, oh my gosh, my finger. When honestly, I probably could have gone in with a brush. I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. So I took my finger. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. And I'm gonna try to use as much shades as possible for you guys. So just tapping that into the outer parts of the eye here. Then we're gonna switch fingers and we're gonna go one over into Sahara. This is bronze, this is Sahara. Sahara is a little bit more chunk to it and a little bit more texture to it. So you can see that this one's just a little bit smoother. So I'm taking Sahara and I'm plopping that. We're getting closer and closer to the inner part of the eye.
Maybe that's a good thing.
And lastly, now that I know how soft these shadows are, I'm gonna go into the bright yellow shade that's called Sunshine. This is the yellow shimmer. I'm picking that up with my number 2 brush from Refa, and I'm gonna put that into the inner part of the eye. I got sunshine on a cloudy day. Okay, so now it's beginning to look like we got a little bit of sunshine on the eyes. It literally looks like it is sunrise on my face, and I love it. I know warm shadows are supposedly like not trendy since everybody want to be cool toned, but my golden yellow ass loves me some golden yellow shadow. Okay, it looks good on me, so I'm not about that cool toned eyeshadow life. Will I wear it? Yes. Have I figured out how to make it work for my skin tone? Yeah, in a lot of ways. But the reality is that my undertone loves these orangey, yellow, coppery shades. Okay, so you guys see the vision. It's basically a sunshine, a sunrise, sunset, whatever you want to call it, on my eyes. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, blend everything together, you know, get that seamless, perfected look that we love. And then I'm going to come back, show you guys your final face, and I'll give you guys my first impressions thoughts on the Swarthy palette by Mez Beauty.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm back and this is the final look. The lips are a lot. I went too far. I know, just let it go. What had happened was I wanted to do an orange lip. I look crazy, I know. I wanted to do an orange lip, and I decided to try out the Nima Tang collection that she did with Dose of Colors. So I put on this orange lipstick and then I topped it with the gloss, and it's a lot. So I'm gonna wipe it off after this video, but we're just gonna go with it. You know, let it go. Don't judge. This would be great by itself, but I think it's just too much together. You know what I mean? Anyways, so let's talk about the palette. Oh wait, I have no earrings. Hold on, I need earrings. Okay. Now we have earrings, now we can talk. So let's talk about the Swarthy palette. So just for context and a little bit of extra information, for my waterline, I did go back in with this dark shade, and then I went in to the inner part with this shade, and I used this one as my inner corner highlight. So I have used every single shade in this palette with the exception of this shimmer, this matte, and this matte. And that's it. So I think I did a good job at trying as much shimmers and mattes as possible. Here's my first impressions thoughts. I love it. I think that this palette performed so well. I think the mattes had pigment. There was no complaint about the pigment, and they blended really, really well. One of my things, and you guys know, I am very, very particular about my mattes. If it ain't matting like it needs to matte, if it ain't blending like it needs to blend, it's just gonna be a problem for me. But these mattes blended like a dream. They built upon each other like a dream. They did not get muddy at all, and they were pigmented. Even the yellow, which I was like, this ain't gonna do nothing for me, it did. It did. She is here, and she is loud and proud. The shimmers, also really beautiful. I will say now that they've kind of like sunk into the eyes a little bit, they're definitely softer, which I like because it's one that it means I can wear it in more situations. It's not super chunky sparkle, so if you have lines, if you have texture and you're worried about that, I think that you'll be fine with this because it's settled in really nicely. And even though some of them looked like they had more chunk to it, I think that they kind of like all blended into this one very soft shimmer on my eyes. It's not a satin by any means. It's just a nice soft shimmer with really good sparkle to it. So overall, I'm very happy with this palette. I think it turned out fabulously. I cannot wait to continue playing with this. And for the price of $26.99, y'all, you cannot go wrong. Oh, one thing that I did want to mention, because the owner, I have been chatting back and forth with the brand on Instagram, and I mentioned this in my original new releases video, is that I wasn't sure if this was a private labeled formula, and the owner did reach out on Instagram and mention that it is handmade. So these are not going to be replicas of what you already have in your collection, because I know that that is something that's a concern to all of us, myself included, with so many private labeled formulas out there. This is handmade shadows, so this is going to be pretty unique to your collection. The color story, not so much. It's a neutral palette, but in terms of formula, it's going to be a unique formula to your collection. So if you were concerned about that, I wanted to make sure that I set the record straight there as well.